Welcome to the National Theatre. So we are here for something very exciting. I brought my mum along, who's behind the camera, thank you for filming. And we have been invited by the National Theatre and National Theatre Live, because I am a brand ambassador for National Theatre Live, and they are taking us on a tour of the theatre, which is so exciting. We're having afternoon tea and we get to see them record the production of The Importance of Being Earnest. So it's a bit cold outside, so let's go inside.
So because we were seeing the recorded production of The Importance of Being Earnest, there were loads of trucks outside full of camera equipment and sound equipment ready to record it all. It was very cool to see. But just to let you know, the screen production of The Importance of Being Earnest is being broadcast in cinemas on February 20th this year.
At that point it was considered an experiment. It was just something we did once and we didn't know whether we would do again. It was designed to improve accessibility and live stream theatre across the UK and also through various other countries as well. Back in those days it was purely a live stream exercise, so one of the last dates in the run of a show at the NT would always be a National Theatre Live broadcast. And it would, we sometimes still do live broadcasts, but productions are more filmed live. They're never edited, they're always filmed as a live performance, but it just allows more people to watch them in the cinema if we can show them again and again and again.
After Toby gave us some background info on how NT Live Productions are filmed, we got to go up on the stage. This was an incredible experience, and as someone who has already seen the show, it was really cool to see all the sets and props up close. This was an experience I'd never forget. We then went outside to have a talk with a woman who works for the company that records and produces the screenings, and she took us into one of the trucks where they record everything.
We tend to have between 2 to 4 trucks on the site, so we've got 3. This big orange one here is our sound supervisor truck, so our sound supervisors are Sound Design Limited. And in that truck, they have a full recording studio suite and very comfy sofa. Which is where they mix for 5.1, which is the speaker setup in cinemas, and so they mix that live, taking the radio mic stems from inside the theatre out to a paper route, and then they mix that so it sounds correct when you go and sit and see it in the cinema. And then the next big truck behind that, which will go inside shortly, that's our OB truck, our outside broadcast vehicle. This will have like 26 cameras, and you're cutting between loads and loads. Similarly, like Premier League football, stuff like that, has got like 18 cameras on it as standard, stuff like that. To make sure that we bring up the correct shot into that program feed, which is what we're showing the audience, and then also they can cut to VTs and fade between shots as well, which is what these faders here are.
After a tour of the filming truck, we went backstage, past the dressing rooms and into the behind the scenes area. This is where sets are painted, props are made and costumes fitted. So we just did a backstage tour and it was so cool. We got to go on stage, and now it's time for afternoon tea. We had afternoon tea in the deck, which is a room with a beautiful view of London. 3 tables were arranged inside and there were lots of cakes, sandwiches and scones to pick from. I'm a brand ambassador for the National Theatre Live programme, but other guests were influencers and some were journalists, people who had also worked with Netflix, lots of different people, and it was nice to get to talk to and get to know them all. They also had on display scripts and costume designs and set designs and things to do with the recording of the show, which was so cool to see. It says, Rebecca, thank you for joining us to celebrate the upcoming release of The Importance of Being Earnest. Enjoy the show. And then I think this is the tickets. So we wonder if they're going to do a Q&A. We've got a menu that tells us what we can have, which is very exciting. I've got my orange juice because I'm not going to lie, I actually don't drink tea. This is so cute. I knew you'd enjoy it. That's why I brought you.
A big welcome to our panel. Some of the key creatives from the production of The Importance of Being Earnest. We have Ray Smith, designer, Petros Koutalaris, who's associate costume designer, and DJ Wilder, our composer. And you can warm your hands up a bit, I think, give them a bit.
Of course, the Victorian age is known for its, amazing technology and the invention of aniline dyes, which, shockingly enough, brought amazing colour into the spectrum of interior and clothing, particularly greens, blues, yellows, fabulous fuchsias. So I'd say that was perhaps the beginning of the journey, is thinking about Oscar, and also a type of gay aesthetic, basically. So in my sort of history, I sort of grew up working in gay theatre as well as other kinds of theatre, and so it's sort of a kind of ode to my past in terms of working at the Citizens Theatre in Glasgow, and also for Neil Bartlett, and working with Betty Ball, who sadly passed away this year, and sort of dressing up and having fun and subversive humour and radical politics at the same time. All of that kind of is mixed up in Oscar Wilde. I also think a great deal towards the idea of being an outsider. So everyone grows up with a particular box they have to try and fulfill or live in or grow out of. But the truth of the matter is that box is constraining, and it gives parameters which often lead you to have to lie your face off and dress and become a role that isn't true to your inner world. And I think Oscar Wilde speaks to the outsider, him being an Irishman, with a clinical observation of the upper middle class English. So I think that perspective in particular gives us our angle on the humour of it, and also the politics of it, because he's a deeply political writer as well.
In this particular instance, I think the sort of reaching out started from a costume that I had designed. So I designed a costume for a drag queen, which was this asshole costume with the spinning feathers at the back. And I remember particularly Ray, I think you DM'd me that specific picture, and you were like, this is cool. or something of the sort, which I think kind of started the conversation of like how do we bring maybe some energy to them, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it totally made me laugh, and I think that, and it was glamorous. It was a kind of glamorous laugh as well.
So it was a mixture of glamour and humour, and bunging it all together and dressing up in order to be something else that I so loved about it, and it just made me laugh.
Yes, I think our first conversations were like, maybe we can put some willies on some jackets.
Yeah.
So people wouldn't see it from far away. And then it's kind of evolved in a really organic way. So I feel like I was able to support Ray with the research and the development of the costumes, but then also I was able to design the walk down costumes and sort of push that creativity and amplify essentially, the queer role at the end, which I feel like is so much of what you said about Oscar Wilde, and just honouring him in many ways and his path.
And in terms of your composing for this production, how did that work in terms of working with Max Webster, the director, and then the actors and other members of the creative team? How did it all come together?
Well, Max asked me, and I said yes. I was like, I definitely want to work with Max. I definitely want to work with Max before, but we never found the opportunity to. But when he asked me to do this, he was trying to explore something quite fun and vibrant, and was looking for, I think the first thing that we all met that he had this, that really drew me in, was more about, he wanted to create this beginning of the show, which was like a fantasy moment. I can't remember the particular Victorian text, but it was there was a written fantasy about two men on a train who had a fancy of getting off with each other on the train, and then they woke up in a dream sequence. And Max was like, well, this is like the perfect example of what I want to do with this. I want to, there's a certain coded queerness within the show that he really wants to get out. So he said, how do we do that musically? And I went, I don't know yet. Let me try and figure that out. But all of that, trying to pick it all up to date, very the imagery is very pink and very flamboyant. So I was trying to figure out how we might do that. And so when you watch the show, there's a whole sequence at the beginning, which is really inspired by where you find things and what is a relationship now, what's the current relationship between then and now, to bring it up to date. And so I kind of explored a lot of, we start very classically, which you'll hear, but it also goes into club culture, just about sexual liberation and where you find that now. A bit of brat season as well, because I'm trying to add, 'cause what are we doing? If we're bringing a text up to date, we should use music and influence that is now. And also then it becomes a real fun thing of trying to explore where can we go, because what's a relationship now, why bring it up to date? And within that, what fun can you have? Because again, as you say, it's a comedy, so it should be fun and vibrant and full of life, which I hope we all did, and which I hope you'll all see in a bit, I think. But it's an expression of fun, vibrancy, and energy. I'm really interested in energy and making sure that whatever music is doing, music should be supporting and then bursting out bits of colour whenever you can, given what the text is. And it should be fun. And also Ray's set is amazing as well. And it's trying to get all the vista and all the colour from the set and the costumes. I'm just trying to reflect that in the music. So it's kind of a response to what I see and what Max has given me.
After having afternoon tea and the Q&A, we sat down in the Lyttleton Theatre at the National to watch the show. It was just as incredible as the first time I saw it back in December. We had great seats, and all the colourful costumes and sets that we had heard the creators talk about were so vibrant and fun to see. As mentioned, the filmed production will be screened across UK cinemas on February the 20th, 2025, and you can click the link in the description to find your nearest venue. I highly recommend getting a ticket because it is a fabulous show. Home now. We had an amazing time. Thank you so much to the National Theatre and specifically NTLive for inviting me down to see the show and do the backstage tour and have afternoon tea. It was actually so much fun, and I'm so thankful that I also got to invite my mum along with me as well. They gave us a little goodie bag. You can't really see from the colour of here because it's kind of dark, but this is a pink bag, which is like the theme of the whole show. And yeah, inside we've got a few goodies. The first being a free program of the show, which tells you all about like the cast and crew and how they put on the production and a bit about the actual storyline and the play as well, which is pretty cool. We then got a Twinings Boost sparkling tea. Got some chocolate. This is gingerbread dark chocolate. So Toby, you can have this as well. Yeah, we can share some chocolate, which would be nice. And then also it had, well, actually I took the menu just to remind myself what we had at afternoon tea. And then a little mini kind of like poster, which also tells you when it is screening in the cinema. They are showing the importance of being earnest across cinemas, but not just cinemas. I learned that they do it in like pubs and like really small screening rooms and also church halls. So they want to make it as accessible for everyone across the UK as possible. So I actually thought they just streamed into cinemas, but check your local like town hall or school hall, and apparently they do that sort of thing as well, which is really cool. And they are showing it on February the 20th this year. And yeah, just search National Theatre Live, importance of being earnest, and find a screening near you and you get to watch it. It is incredible. Ncuti Gatwa is incredible in it. In fact, the entire cast was so good. I've seen it twice now and I want to go see the film production in the cinemas. Like, I will happily go see it a third time. It is so much fun. It's really fun that I got to do this experience today with my mum as well. And I feel very grateful for this. So thank you, NTLive. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog. It will definitely be up before the screening on the 20th of February. So make sure you get your tickets. If I can find a link, I'll leave it in the description. And get yourself tickets to any National Theatre production because they are amazing. And yeah, go watch The Importance of Being Earnest. Thanks for watching. Bye.